again, Education 1030 students, I don't know when you're watching this, but I'm recording this Wednesday, March the 1st. I wanted to remind you that next week is spring break. So spring break is awesome because we get a little time off school. It's a chance for you to have a break, maybe catch up and rest a little bit. But it's really a great time to reflect. So this is why we have the midterm assignment. So this assignment, like I said, is a good chance for you to reflect how you're doing during the semester. So at this point, you have a pretty good indication of how you're doing in all of your courses. So when we talk about midterm, we're thinking about all the courses you're taking this semester. This allows you to make any corrections at this point to achieve your semester goals. So if there's a class maybe you're not doing too well in, it's okay because you have a chance to see if you can make corrections that you need to move forward and reach your goals. So I wanted to kind of go over the assignment a little bit for you. Now this assignment is going to take place during spring break. So the assignment is actually going to open up this Friday on the 3rd, but it will not be due until Sunday, March the 12th. But I kind of encourage you to get this done early. So this is just something you can check off your list, and then maybe you actually have time to do a little bit of rest or have a break from school. So I wanted to get into the assignment and then also the rubric as well, so you can kind of see what the expectations are as far as what you need to be doing. So looking here at the midterm check-in, like I mentioned before, this is for all of your courses. Any classes that you're taking this semester. So regardless if you have a midterm in any of your courses or not, it's really good for you to always spend that time reflecting on your classes and where you're at. If you're doing well, if maybe you're struggling in a subject matter, that way we can figure out how can I move forward? How can I make those corrections? So when you're checking in, you really need to think about the classes that you really maybe are not doing too well in and focus on those because those are the ones you're going to have to make corrections in. So what I want you to do is to look at each course syllabus that you have for all of your courses. And I want you to review the section that talks about how your grade is going to be calculated. And what I want you to do for each course, I want you to estimate your overall grade. So look at the points available, look at how many points that you have so far, and calculate your grade. If you're not sure really how to calculate grades in your class, it's a good idea to reach out to your instructor and ask them. But at this point, you should know how you're doing, and it's always important for you as a student to always average your grade. This is something that you should keep as a responsible student. This is something you should do and always keep in mind so you know where you stand. Now, after you enter all of your grade averages, now when you're estimating your grade, you can put points as far as how many points out of how many points you have, but it's a really good idea to put an average. So you could either put a letter grade or an actual number average of how you're doing. The next section is really talking about strategies for improving or maintaining your grades. So if you're doing really well, I want you to talk about or think about how you can continue to do that. So what am I doing right? What's working for me? And then also think about things that are not going well and where you're struggling or where you maybe have a deficit. So what I want you to do is if you are having trouble and you're struggling in your classes, please reach out to the tutoring center. We've got the English lab, English learning lab, we have the math lab, we have the tutoring center that's in the student success building. So just please reach out. But one thing that I want you to do, besides reaching out for those classes you're struggling in, is also talk to your instructor, right? Say, listen, this is what's going on, I'm having a trouble. Because we want to make sure that you're keeping an average that's at least a C or better, right? That's passing. So what I want you to do here is you'll see there's 3 steps listed. I want you to list 3 steps you will take to improve if you're struggling in any of your classes, or if you're doing really well in all your classes, what are you doing that's going to help you maintain? So what are you continuing to do? and list those three things that you're doing so you can continue to pass your classes. Now the next section is really talking about getting to know your academic advisor. So it's important for you as a student to always know who your advisor is. This is something that we talked about when we were in chapters 1 and 12, like knowing who your advisor is, talking to them, so you can work out not only your schedule, but also your academic plan. So what kind of classes do I need for this major? And if you're undecided, you definitely need to speak to an advisor in the Student Success Center. That way you can figure out kind of how they can help you to pick a major. So the first question to ask yourself, do I know who my academic advisor is? Okay, have I met with them this semester? Okay, you need to meet with your advisor at least one time a semester. So registration is actually coming up in April. So one thing that I want us to note is registration for summer and fall begins April 3rd. You have to meet with an academic advisor before you're allowed to register. So that's coming up really soon. So these are things I want you to think about. So I want you to list the following information here, okay? I want you to know who your advisor is. If you don't know, you need to find out who that is. You need to put your advisor's name, phone number for their office, their email, and their office number, so that means where they're located. Now, if you are on a different campus, say Sevierville or Nice-Wonger or Claiborne, you still have to list who your advisor is and that office that they're located. So you must be, like I said before, you must be cleared with your advisor before you can register. And registration is coming up on April 3rd. So have you even met with your advisor, not even one time, or yes, you have met? So you're going to answer if you've met with them, yes or no. And if you have not met with them, have you at least reached out to them to schedule an appointment? So one thing I want to caution you of is that once the 1st of April starts, like the 3rd of April, and we're doing registration, the advisors get really booked up fast. So it's important for you to reach out before that time so you can schedule an appointment. So another thing that I want you to answer is, are you going to keep or change your advisor? Some of the reasons that students may change their advisor is the obvious reason. Number one is you changed your major. Maybe you were undecided or general studies and you finally picked a major. So this would be a reason you would switch your advisor. So these I want you to answer if you're going to. If you are going to, list the reason of why you're going to change your advisor. If you're going to keep your advisor, just put yes. Now, I already told you the answer to this question, but you need to tell me when registration for summer and fall begins. The next section goes back to when we were talking about time management in chapter 3. So I want you to think about if you were using those strategies and helping you manage your time better. So are you tracking how you spend your time? You're going to circle or highlight always, never, or sometimes. If you are not actually managing your time well, think about chapter 3. Go back to chapter 3 and look at those strategies that it listed when we were talking about time management. What kind of things can you do to help with that and change your behavior? The next section talks about making regular use of a planner or calendar. This is something we talked a lot about in chapter 3 as well. So think about, am I actually using a planner or some kind of calendar in my phone to help me keep track of my assignments? So you can circle or highlight always, never, or sometimes. And if you're not doing that, again, go back to chapter 3 and see some of the tips and tricks it gives you as far as trying to help you start using a calendar or a planner or something of that sort. I did want to mention that all campuses should have water state planners available for students free of charge. So, think about this. I know that some students might think it's too late, which it's not, because you still have the rest of the semester, so you can get one. Or if you'd like to wait till, say, summer or fall, then it's a good idea to go ahead and get those when they come out, just so you'll have a planner so you can keep up with your assignments. Many students like to do it in their phone, or they'll get an app just whatever makes you actually keep up and track your assignments and keep up with what you need to do. So this just makes you prioritize what's important. This makes you be able to keep organized and you know what's expected and when things are due. The next section is talking about important assignments or requirements. So many classes have what we call major assignments or major projects or papers that are due. So I want you to look through your syllabi, again, your course syllabus in your classes, and I want you to list any major exams coming up, any papers or projects or something that you need to complete that's remaining in the rest of the semester, right? So we are 6 weeks into school as of now, right? So one thing I want you to think about is I want you to put any major assignments or exams or papers that you have for the remaining of the semester. Now, some courses may be more heavy on this than others, so just think about those major assignments or tests. And then, of course, the last one, and don't forget also, before I forget to mention this to you, is don't forget to put the due date. And that, again, goes back to your calendar. Now, if you're using a calendar or a planner, these things should already be inside of your planner or your calendar. They should be inputted in there so you'll have it. And then the last section is really going back to talking about how we manage anxiety and stress. A lot of students become overwhelmed and they're really struggling with that big transition of moving into college. So lots of students can become overwhelmed, start to become stressed, and then starts to feel very anxious. So one thing that we tell students is that it's okay, this is normal for a lot of students. But what's not normal is if you get high anxiety and stress and you are that way all the time. So think about what your current level of stress is or anxiety. Is it high, medium, or low? And I want you to highlight or circle one of those options. Think about if you could benefit from counseling, and you would check yes, no, or not sure. And then I want you to enter the location of counseling center on campus. Okay, so for the Morristown campus, put that. If there's a counseling center on the Niswonger or Sevier campus that it lists, or Claiborne, I want you to put that as well. So these are just things I want you to reflect on, is really think about your anxiety and stress level. Let me go ahead and share with you the rubric because this is how I'm going to grade you. So if you look here, you have a possibility of 20 points. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at the different criteria in which I'm going to grade you. So the different levels are expected competency, working towards, that means you need a little improvement, but you're on your way. And then below means that we have lots of things we need to work on. So the first section or criteria I'm grading you on is the content accuracy. So did you answer all the questions using the textbook? You know, we referred a lot back to some of our chapters. So are you using text-based evidence? So the things that you're learning from class, are you using that to answer questions? The next section or criteria is grammar. So obviously this is not Comp 1, right? This is not English Lit. I understand that. But you are in college. We do expect you to use college level writing. So that means answering your sentences incomplete. Answers are incomplete sentences. You shouldn't have a lot of spelling and grammar errors. So you should start sentences with capital letters. So these are things that I want you to think about. The next section is length. So with responses, I want you to answer 4 to 5 sentences per section. This is what we call a complete answer to the prompt. Pay attention to logical presentation of answers. That means how you're laying things out. It should flow, it should make sense, it should be organized. that is how I am going to grade you on this assignment. And like I mentioned, it's due March the 12th. So you have the Dropbox here, or you can go up to assessments and click on Dropbox. Again, it opens on March the 3rd. So if you're thinking, oh goodness, I can't believe she gave us this assignment over spring break, it'd be nice if you got this done early so you wouldn't be spending next week doing it. But it will be due on Sunday, March the 12th, so just keep that in mind. All right, that's all I have for you. I really do hope that you have a wonderful spring break. I don't know if you have any trips planned or you're just staying around here or working, but I do hope that you have some time to just have a break, maybe rest a little bit, and then come back strong for the remainder of the semester. As always, I'm here for you. If you have any questions, I'm able to meet with you over the phone, over Teams, or in person. So please do not hesitate to ever reach out if you're having problems or struggling or you have questions, because that's what I'm here for. All right, guys, until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.